What is going on, pro wrestling fans? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jose Ramos Jr. and welcome back to another post-show reaction to Friday Night SmackDown, an eventful episode of SmackDown in the rear view mirror, a show that was filled with eventful matches and eventful storytelling. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Obviously, the main story at hand is Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, something that's been boiling up for the last couple of months, quite frankly, and now it's starting to really heat up in the sense that Kevin Owens is beginning to lose patience with the WWE champion. The night would begin with Randy Orton addressing the crowd alongside Cody Rhodes as to what his game plan was when teaming up with Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa at the newest PLE Bad Blood. Obviously, a lot of people are asking Cody Rhodes what's on his mind, what is he doing, and the two main culprits of those questions, of course, would be Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, two of Cody Rhodes' closest allies in this fight against the Bloodline. We saw them team up several times over the course of these last couple years, certainly within the War Games matchup. We had the six-man tag earlier this summer, so it would make perfect sense for them to question Cody Rhodes. This is a guy whose last couple years have been filled with matches against the likes of Jimmy, Jay, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Tongans. Why would it make sense for him to team up with Roman Reigns, the guy who has personally made it a vendetta against Cody Rhodes and hold him down? We saw the lead up to both WrestleManias and how personal it came between the two. So naturally, if I'm Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton for that matter, I'm going to question Cody. Why are you teaming up with him? But it makes perfect sense if you really think about it. When it comes down to the saying of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that is why Cody Rhodes asked for Roman Reigns' word that he would have his back so that he could return the favor at Bad Blood. From a storytelling aspect, I think it makes sense for Cody to do that. He mentioned to Randy Orton, would you rather be a fool to trust Roman Reigns, or would you rather be a coward and not fight? Valid point by Cody Rhodes. It demonstrates that not only is he a fighting champion, but he's a fighting babyface who's willing to team up with his enemies in order to defeat the bigger bad at hand. But the one person that really hasn't spoken up that much is Kevin Owens. So once he made his way into the ring to address Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, of course, Kevin Owens would be interrupted by the Bloodline. Of course, to no one's surprise, because they seemingly continue to interrupt Kevin Owens, which I think will only add fuel to the fire that has been burning within Kevin Owens, because every time he wants to speak, it's almost as if he's not allowed the opportunity to express what is on his mind. We, of course, lead the whole promo when it comes to the heels talking down the baby faces. The baby faces wanted to fight to the point where Cody Rhodes wants to have a six-man tag as the main event of SmackDown that night, and Kevin Owens really quickly brushes off Cody Rhodes, saying, you have a tag match at Bad Blood with Roman Reigns. You need to worry about that match. And you could have done it one of two ways. You could have done it the babyface route, where it's like, hey, we got to make sure you're ready for that matchup, don't risk injury, and maintain focus. But Kevin Owens brushed him off almost in a disrespectful manner, brushing him off as if to demean Cody Rhodes, and for a lack of a better term, disrespect Cody Rhodes, saying, you want to focus on that match because that's who you want as your tag team partner, fine, but Randy and I will take care of business tonight. And that was only the beginning in terms of the cracks that have been showing in this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Later in the evening, we would have Cody Rhodes enter the locker room that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were in to prepare for their tag match, and he wanted to address what has been going on. He wanted to, first off, I think, wanted to apologize to Kevin Owens because of the whole uncomfortable situation, but Kevin Owens wasn't going to have it, which I thought was ironic as it is, because Kevin Owens has wanted so many opportunities to speak out and voice his opinions on this tag team match, but come left and right, he's been interrupted by others that have been involved in this story. Now that Cody Rhodes comes into his locker room and wants to discuss this whole issue, Kevin Owens immediately tells him, no, I want to focus on this matchup. So he has an opportunity to talk about it. but the priority at hand was the matchup. He needed to, prepare mentally, prepare physically for this matchup. Again, brushing off Cody Rhodes, telling him that he doesn't even want him at ringside. He doesn't want his help because he says you have to worry about your tag team partner, Roman Reigns. Of course, afterwards, Randy Orton would, talk to Cody and say, you know what, we're going to have issues with the numbers game if the Tongans arrive, which they did. And he said that he would want Cody Rhodes to appear just to have their back. And he would talk to Kevin Owens, of course. But when we got to the main event match, again, a solid matchup between the two teams. Of course, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa versus Randy and Kevin Owens. A solid matchup by all means. And of course, the Tonga and Tongaloa would arrive and interfere, and by no hesitation did Cody Rhodes make his way to the ring in order to try to alleviate the pressure off of the baby faces. But the interaction between him and Jacob Fatu would lead to Jacob hurling Cody Rhodes into the ring, brushing up against the referee, causing him to fold back and hit the ground, and preventing Kevin Owens from gaining the pinfall victory over Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu would take advantage of this, super kicking Kevin Owens double time and allowing Solo Sikoa to earn the victory. Yet again, the bloodline stand tall. But it was after the matchup that we really have a problem. If we're talking to Houston in Command Center, Houston, we have a problem because Kevin Owens put his hands on Cody. He pushes Cody away and immediately, again, we don't know exactly what he was saying, but it's apparent that he was blaming Cody for that loss. I told you, and this is all speculation on what I'm thinking he's saying, but I told you to not interfere in this matchup, and what did you do? You came anyway, and you cost us the matchup. I had the match won. I was going to pin Solo Sikoa 1, 2, 3, but no, you had to come in to our business and ruin the matchup. And that led to a little shoving contest between the two until Randy Orton would interject himself in between, and try to keep peace. And over time, as Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline kind of smiling in a successful manner as they begin to see the cracks form between this alliance, Kevin Owens would then concede and say, you know what? He would calm down, he would give Cody a hug, and they would end the show as is. But as we know in pro wrestling, there's always room for more conflict, and it's all but confirmed that we're going to be getting a heel turn from Kevin Owens. I don't see Cody Rhodes turning heel anytime soon. Kevin Owens, I think, will thrive as a heel on SmackDown. And again, the best villains are those who think that they are right. And Kevin Owens does have a reason to be right. Cody Rhodes is siding with the man that Kevin Owens has been battling for years on end. Cody Rhodes interfered in a matchup that Kevin Owens asked him specifically to not interfere in. It doesn't, and on top of that, Kevin Owens hasn't won a singles title, or world singles title, I should say, since 2017, when he lost to Goldberg at Fastlane on the build to WrestleMania 33. So obviously that's going to get in his head. That's going to make him feel a type of way that Cody Rhodes is out here as champion, and Kevin Owens has been playing second fiddle to him. It's only a matter of time. I'm thinking it's going to be a full-fledged heel turn, either probably around the time of Survivor Series War Games, whether or not it's the build up or afterwards. If I had to put my money on right now, I'm going to say we're going to have the War Games matchup where it's the Bloodline versus a group of baby faces, or I don't know how the team's going to work, but I think Cody will be involved. And I think if Kevin's in the match, that is where the heel turn is going to happen, or it'll be after Survivor Series. But if I had to put my money, that's where I would certainly be betting on. We move on from the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens saga. We want to talk about money, talking about betting. How about Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax? We had a segment there on Friday Night SmackDown where, again, tensions were rising between these two as Nia Jax basically blaming Tiffany Stratton for being unable to help her defeat the team of Bayley and Naomi on last week's episode of SmackDown, forcing one of them to leave to go to Monday Night Raw. Of course, that wasn't the case, and we're setting in motion for this breakup between the two. The only question is, are we going to be turning Tiffany Stratton babyface, or is it going to be one of those dynamics where the heel beats the heel, thus becoming a bigger heel? I think Tiffany is better served as a heel. I don't want to see her as a babyface quite yet, but the way the crowd reacts to her, I wouldn't put it past WWE to turn her into a babyface. And we talk about the women's division. They had a couple matches here, a couple of solid matches, I might add. The first one that we'll discuss, of course, involves Naomi and Bayley, the aforementioned women that were talked about last week in that tag match, in a match that really had the opportunity to be the match of the night. I thought, for what it was worth, great opening matchup. Bayley and Naomi, two of the best that WWE has in that division, but ultimately it would be Bayley that emerged victorious, earning the number one contender spot for Nia Jax's world title. And now we have the match set at Bad Blood. Bayley getting her rematch against Nia Jax for the title that she lost at SummerSlam earlier this summer. Again, solid matchup. I enjoyed it. We get another matchup next week out of it. It'll be Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. Look forward to next week's SmackDown. But let's stick on this week. I talked about the women's division. We also had Michin, Mia Yim defeat Piper Niven in a good matchup. Solid, again, setting up their matchup, the dumpster match between Mia Yim and Chelsea Green. That should be an eventful SmackDown next week as well. Can't wait for that, because we're going to have a ladder match. We're going to have a dumpster match. I already talked about the Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton matchup. And we're going to be getting the return of AJ Styles, who we haven't seen in months. I think the last time, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the last time we might have seen him was when he lost to Cody Rhodes at a Clash at the Castle, if my memory serves me correct, which in itself is pretty crazy to think about, that we've gone this long without AJ Styles, the phenomenal one of the best that WWE has on its roster, one of the best of all time if you ask me, and is certainly on a lot of people's top 10 lists if you ask me. Can't wait for that return. I want to see what they do in terms of his progression. Will he maintain his heel status? Will he turn babyface? Who will he be? Who will be his first opponent upon returning? But again, let's stick to the current episode of SmackDown with what I thought was the match of the night. It was part 6, Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. Solid matchup. Again, the in-ring work today on SmackDown I thought was great. The storytelling was great. It was a solid episode of SmackDown. I can't praise it enough. When we get to this match, it's number 6 in a series between two individuals in matches that have been highly entertaining, highly energetic, and certainly have done a great job in putting over both talent involved. I think it was a foregone conclusion that Carmelo Hayes would win this matchup because the current series stood at 3-2 in the favor of El Idolo Andrade. But what was the telling point of this was LA Knight's interference. LA Knight would interfere, and in hopes of retaliating on the attack by Carmelo Hayes, that would actually lead to the unfortunate defeat for Andrade, and Carmelo would win the matchup, tying the series 3-3. I do think it's match of the night. I didn't like the finish of having LA Knight come in and ruin the match, and it really took away from the momentum that was built between the two. But if we want to go logically, it makes sense because LA Knight's going to want to get his hands on Carmelo Hayes for the attack, and it helps set up match 7, which it's going to happen. The series is tied at 3-3, and then it's match 6. We're going to lead into match 7. It was a cop-out, and not necessarily in a negative connotation, but it was a smart way to write the ending to ensure that we do get match 7. Whether or not that happens, it's probably not going to happen next week. Probably going to happen to SmackDown after Bad Blood. That would be my guess. I think it would be such a great opportunity to showcase these two individuals at the PLE Bad Blood. Probably won't happen. I think that matchup, those matchups are already set up for the PLE. They usually have their 5 to 6 matches scheduled for their premium live events. But nonetheless, I would look forward to it. I'm hoping it leads to maybe a triple threat match for the United States Championship, because Andrade, LA Knight, and Carmelo Hayes, all tremendous workers who have enough talent to put on match of the night, maybe match of the year. I might be hyping it up too much, but that's certainly a match that I would love to see. But what I would really love is to hear your guys' thoughts, comments. Go ahead and let me down below. What was your favorite match? What was your favorite aspect of Friday Night SmackDown? If you enjoyed this post-show reaction, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all these videos that are produced on the channel. And of course, my name's Jose Ramos Jr. And be sure to check out tomorrow's video, or I guess depending on when you watch this, check out the video of where I discuss my full review of the Mr. McMahon documentary uploaded by Netflix. With that being said, of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. again, and I'll see you in the next one.